is to do with the apex court of the country that has now dismissed a plea under RTI seeking information on a collegium meeting that was held in 2018. Now, the top court has said that discussions may have happened, but only a final resolution can be considered a decision. Now, Union Law Minister Kiran Rijiju also has hit out at the Congress party, saying that any allegation can be made, but the legal system has a different way of working. Now, this was in reference to Congress MP Manish Tiwari issuing an adjournment notice in the Parliament to discuss the confrontation with the judiciary brought to the fore by recent statements that were made by various government functionaries, including Union Law Minister Kiran Rijiju.
सर जिस तरह से
कांग्रेस पार्टी कह रही है कि आप लोग लगातार जुडिशरी के ऊपर कमेंट कर रहे हैं, देयर इज अ कन्फ्रंटेशन विद द जुडिशरी, इस पे क्या कहेंगे आप?
ये तो कांग्रेस पार्टी और हम में फर्क है ना। कांग्रेस पार्टी जैसा काम करते थे हम वैसे नहीं कर सकते।
Now, Manish Tiwari had also lashed out at VP Dhankar for his remarks about NJAC while speaking exclusively to CNN News 18. Let's listen in.
Said that the parliament can make laws, but it is the judiciary which has the responsibility to scrutinize them. This is almost like collision courts that we have been talking about.
Well, that's the constitutional arrangement. Parliament has the right to make laws, but the final arbiter of those laws in terms of how they square up on the touchstone of constitutionality is a mandate given by the Constitution to the courts. And therefore this confrontation, which is unfortunately building up, does not augur well for the constitutional scheme. And therefore I had given a notice under Rule 184, an adjournment notice, to have a detailed discussion in the House about this potential situation which is developing. Yesterday also the apex court in fact has observed and told the Attorney General that the NJAC judgment is the law of the land, and the law of the land has to be implemented. They impede the process of justice.
first question to you, this whole tussle is happening, what was better, NJAC or the Collegium System?
At the moment we can't comment upon so far national that whatever the law they want to make, but so far as Collegium is concerned, this is the law at the moment, and we cannot and nobody can get out of that at this stage. Only if the government want, and especially both the houses, they can enact the new law. But at the moment Collegium system doing much better, and if the government wants any change, for that purpose they can amend the law. Otherwise, if they will make the law, ultimately it will come again before the Honorable Supreme Court. So there should not be any tussle in between government and the judiciary, that is especially the Supreme Court. And I think the Law Minister, especially the Honorable Prime Minister, should intervene in this matter now.
Taking this across to my colleagues who are joining me on the broadcast, Ananya and Arunima both join me. Arunima, I come to you first. The fact that now the opposition, especially the Congress party, is offering an ample critique against the statements that have been not just made in Parliament but also by Union Law Minister Mr. Kiran Rijiju. Now, this, of course, is again underlining this one fact that what is the constitutional viability that needs to stand, as opposed to these various conjecturing that happen every now and then on whether the collegium system, when it comes to the court, should stand or not.
There's a pointed question that was put by Mallikarjun Kharge, whether the government is planning to bring back NJAC with any kind of amendment to the law that was struck down by the Supreme Court. To which the answer was that there is no such plan at the moment. So what we are hearing, are they mere conjectures or tests? I'm sure the on-the-court reply seems to suggest, but what Manish Tiwari said, he said but also gave that example. What is it that he's saying? That the judicial system runs on the face of people. And the kind of commentary that is happening, he says it takes us on a dangerous path where courts could lose their legitimacy. And that is why it is required that it's the government, that the current system of appointment is problematic. there should be some kind of dialogue between the executive and judiciary.
Right,
But
Arunima,
that
I'm really
dialogue.
sorry, there's some trouble with your audio link. We'll have that refixed and I'll come back to you. Let me actually cut across to Ananya at the moment, who's also standing by. Ananya, we were talking about this RTI plea that has now been dismissed by the apex court of the country. If you can take our viewers through the background, why this plea, talking about the 2018 judgment, why are we talking it in the current context, and of course, what has followed?
Well, what has actually happened was that there was an order of the CIC refusing to give out a collegium decision of a particular collegium meeting where two High Court Chief Justices were to be elevated to the Supreme Court. However, that meeting remained inconclusive. Now, the petitioner had actually sought from the CIC the details of what had happened during that particular meeting, but the matter reached the High Court. And the High Court too dismissed this petition, and then it finally came up to the Supreme Court. And Supreme Court today also dismissed this petition, saying that the collegium decisions, though, are made public through a resolution because collegium is a multi-membered body. But then the details of what has happened during those collegium meetings cannot be disclosed. Now, at this point of time, when such an order comes in, and already there's a tussle between the government and in fact, the Supreme Court that is going on, and we've seen how the Supreme Court has in fact reacted to what the law minister and the vice president has said. Yesterday, in fact, when Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul-led bench was hearing this particular matter, it had said that the high constitutional functionaries are making such kind of public statements, and asked the Attorney General of India to actually advise them to not make such statement. In fact, it also retaliated that though the Parliament is the supreme body to pass any kind of a law, but then at the end of it, the Supreme Court is the final arbitrator of the law, and in case there is something wrong or something that has to be changed, it is the Supreme Court who can strike down or read down a particular law, and that would be the law of the land in the finality. So that's how the tussle actually is growing, and we've seen how the Supreme Court got egged over how the collegium recommendations are being sent back to the collegium for the second or the third time, and Supreme Court said that sending back these collegium recommendations for the second or the third time would actually be in fact a violation of the Supreme Court's earlier order, whether we talk of the NJC judgment or the 2017 contempt judgment. So this debate is definitely growing, and we're seeing how it is now playing up in the Parliament as well. Kriya.
Right, Ananya, thank you so much for joining us.